How's it going, guys? Today I will be reviewing That Hurt My Neck. Today I will be reviewing a movie for you guys, and this movie is called Berberian Sound Studio, and it is directed by a man named Peter Candyland. And the plot of this movie is pretty simple. You're basically following a British man who is a sound engineer, and he does, like the sound editing for movies and stuff, and he goes to this one Italian sound studio, and he is unaware of the fact that it is actually an Italian horror film. And horror movies aren't really this guy's cup of tea. Get it? Because he's British and he drinks tea. I'm sorry. He's British and he drinks tea, and it's not his cup of tea. You get it. It's oh god, thank you. I'm until Thursday. Anyways, so yeah, horror movies aren't really this guy's kind of thing, and, he's kind of having second thoughts about doing this kind of movie, and, but he kind of sticks to it. Well, actually, the director's kind of forcing him to do the movie, and I thought it was really neat how, they did, all the sounds and stuff for the movie, because, they get, cabbages and stuff, and they start cutting them, but they put, mics, in front of the cabbage to make it sound like somebody's slicing something up, and they'll also, put these girls into, this tiny little room, and they'll just scream at the top of their lungs like they're being murdered. And then you have another guy over here who has a bunch of vegetables and stuff in his hand, and there's a bucket of water, and he's just splashing in them like somebody's drowning. It is actually really kind of creative and neat how they did all this stuff. But this dude is really not feeling it. He doesn't like horror movies, and he kind of has a bad feeling about this, what's going on. And he doesn't feel safe in the sound studio, because it kind of has an eerie atmosphere to it, and he just, he's not comfortable in this sound studio, and he doesn't really want to continue making this movie. So the entire movie is just kind of following him and, how he reacts to, the movie and stuff. And that's basically what the entire movie's about without giving away too much, but, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the whole entire movie, and just to let you guys know, this is not really a horror movie. Just because they are making a horror movie in the movie doesn't necessarily make it a horror movie itself, because this movie really isn't a horror movie at all. I mean, it has its moments, it definitely kind of feels like a horror movie, but, overall, I just kind of say it's more of a drama or a thriller. But if anything, it is definitely a very slow burn type of movie, and, yeah, this movie is really slow. Probably one of the biggest problems I had with this movie was the fact that it was just so slow, and it just took such a long time to build up, and nothing really happens. If you guys like action-packed movies where there's a lot of things going on in every scene, then this movie definitely is not for you. This is definitely one of those movies that it's very slow. Like I said, it's very, it takes its time to tell a story. And I really do think there's no doubt about it that you will be bored while watching this movie. But despite all of that, the movie is still definitely very interesting, and, the concept is very interesting as well. The acting was pretty well done, well, considering that half of the movie is in Italian, I couldn't really, tell how they were acting, but from what I've seen, they were doing pretty good. But one of the biggest problems people had with this movie was that, the ending. It kind of just ended abruptly, nothing. I kind of don't want to spoil it for you guys, I really don't know how to describe it, but the ending to this movie really, it kind of ends, there really isn't anything else to it. You think, since the movie is so slow, you're thinking they're gonna, build up and something, really big is gonna happen, but really, nothing happens at all, and it's kind of a bummer, because they had so much potential with such a cool and creative concept, and they just kind of, it didn't really lead to anything, spectacular or anything like that. It just kind of left you wanting more and wanting to know what happens next. But yeah, the movie, it kind of ends, and it's just it's definitely the worst part about this movie, and, the movie, it leads to nothing, and it kind of sucks because, like I said, the concept and the idea of this movie is really cool. This movie is very, very symbolic. There's a lot of scenes you can kind of tell, they don't necessarily make a lot of sense, and, they're kind of telling you something metaphorically that you're kind of supposed to be figuring out for yourself. And I do think the ending is very, very symbolic. Although I didn't quite get what they were trying to say to me, I can kind of tell that metaphorically they were saying something, and you can kind of tell, but, you didn't really quite get the message. Well, at least I didn't. So you can't really take this movie, too literally, what's happening in the scenes and whatnot, because definitely, the ending, I think a lot of people took a little too literally, which is why I don't think they liked it too much. But I do think the ending is very symbolic, which is, a reason why it just kind of ended so abruptly and, like, you know, left you wanting more. It didn't really have a proper ending, but, you know, I guess it means something. I don't know personally, but hey, maybe you will. But yeah, guys, only check this movie out if you're into, like, really slow-burning stuff. Like, this movie is definitely, you know, you have to have, like, your full attention while watching this movie. And like I said, don't go into this movie thinking it is a horror movie, because it is not a horror movie at all. In fact, there is not a speck of blood, I think, in this movie, and it's not, you know, I know blood isn't necessarily means it's, like, it's a horror movie, but there's not a whole lot of, you know, frightening, scary scenes in here. It's more about, like, you know, the symbolism and stuff. That's mainly what the movie focuses on. It's the symbolism, you know. It's not really all about, you know, the scares and the blood and the gore, because this movie, it's not a horror movie at all, and it's more of a, you know, just like a drama. But hey, if the movie sounds interesting to you, and if you want to check it out, then go ahead. Personally, I kind of liked it. I thought it was, you know, definitely worth checking out, like, at least once. But like other people, the ending kind of left me, you know, scratching my head and just, you know, just kind of wanting a little bit more. But other than that, the movie was just overall very, you know, is very interesting, and it was definitely worth a watch. Berberian Sound Studio is definitely a very slow movie, but it does have a very interesting concept as well, and overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this film a 3.5 out of 5. I liked it for what it was. It was a nice little watch, but it's not really anything that, you know, I'm going to be probably remembering throughout the years. But I do recommend it for those of you who do like these types of movies. And that is it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jacob Palacio. Do not forget to leave a comment down below on what movie I should review next, and I will see you guys later.